You know what your nickname should be? Sharp Elbows.
Sharp elbows. I think I'm going to go with the Warthog.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'll work.
Short, hairy, smelly, ugly.
How about the Longbow?
The longbow? No.
Welcome to MMA Noise. I'm your host, Mike Straka, along with Jim Miller. Jim fighting Diego Sanchez. Now, that's going to be a fight that Conor McGregor's fighting, so it's obviously going to be a huge card. Diego, I don't know, man. Tough fight?
Definitely a tough fight. Diego's he doesn't stop. You know, he's one of those guys that I think has kind of changed throughout his career. In the beginning of his career, he was more of a grappler. Now he just kind of brawls because he's made some bonuses doing that, and you know, you hear those little birdies chirping in your ear, and you kind of change your style a little bit to get noticed. But he's tough. He's not going to stop. You know, I'm going to have to choke him unconscious, and that's what I'm looking to do.
Well, you've done that before.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Jim Miller's going to be 155. He's going to be one of the toughest guys to fight. You're never going to give up, and you're trained very hard. But then you've got guys that go to 170, go to 155, go to 145, go back to 170, back to 150. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, what's your assessment of people who do that?
You know, it's just one of those things. I wouldn't have a problem going up. You know, I made my career training with my brother, you know, who fought at 185. So I'd fight at 185.
Now, you mentioned you're working on keeping your weight low to make your life a little easier. 155. What have you changed besides your diet?
Low intensity cardio, and you know, really working the diet just to try to take a little bit of mass off. You know, my fight back in April in New Jersey, I had the worst cut of my career, and you know, it was just a tough one.
What does it take to really get to the place where you or Frankie Edgar are, when you can go 25 minutes and then still do 100 push-ups just to prove that you're in shape?
You know, I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how the other guys do it. I've always just never been afraid of that burning lungs. You know, I mean, I look at it as that's what I expect it. I come into a fight and I expect to be tired, and you know, I want my corner to have to pick me up. After my fight against Pat Healy, I puked in the shower for about 20 minutes. Wow. You know, I mean, that was a tough one.
Was that a concussion?
No, you know what? I had a rough week leading up to it. Thursday night before the fight, my wife's 5 months pregnant with our third kid, and she gets into a car accident on the way to the hotel. So it was 7 o'clock at night. I was gonna start my weight cut in a little bit and get a phone call.
There's so many posters here of fight nights that you or Dan were both on all of these cards. What? And I know Conor is a big card for you, but I don't know, man. You've been on with George St. Pierre. You've been on title fights with Shogun. I mean, you've been on some big fights.
Yeah.
What do you think's the biggest card you've ever been on?
You know, I was on 100, and that was a big card. I went out and I fought Mac Danzig, and I cut him, and everybody wondered why Matt was bloody.
Yeah.
You know, and it was actually, that was one of the most downloaded fights because people
wanted to know what happened.
Wanted to know what happened. Wanted to know why there was a bloody snail trail across the whole mat.
How has life as a fighter changed since USADA, since the random testing?
For me personally, you know, it hasn't. You know, I actually got my first surprise USADA test the other day. So, you know, 7:30 in the morning, I show up at the house. And
you didn't run away? You didn't pull a Vanderlei Silva?
Yeah, no, there's nowhere to go. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's like, luckily they showed up at 7:30 and not like 6 o'clock. Right. Waking up the kids and stuff like that, I would have been pissed. But
well, you would have had to take a piss, actually.
Yeah.
Do you get recognized on the street?
Occasionally, yeah. I was in Walmart, and I like go in there, and I've got a bladder the size of an acorn. So I run into the bathroom, and I start going to the bathroom, and this guy's standing next to me, and he starts looking over me. He's like, "Jim?" Like, yeah. And he picks his elbow up while I'm taking a leak and gives me an elbow bump. And I'm like, dude, like, just wait for me to get out of the bathroom, for crying out loud. Hi, I'm Jim Miller, and you're watching MMA Noise on Louder Noise.